Hello, let's start with the diet update. Currently 175, 2 pounds down from yesterday. Not too bad. As for the meals eaten today, it was quite random. If I can remember correctly, I had 6 slices of bacon. Yes, pretty crazy, I know. But 2 of those slices were wrapped around some jalapeno poppers that my sister made, and they were very good. I really enjoyed those. Now, I actually started the day eating with strawberries that were grinded up, and my mom made me that. It was alright, but she used frozen strawberries, and I don't know, I wasn't too crazy about it, but I am grateful she made them for me. Now, other than that, what else did I have? Well, later in the day, when I got home for lunch from work, I had homemade burger, with a tiny burger patty, with cheese, mustard, mayonnaise, using avocado oil, not the other oil that's bad for you. I forget what it's called though. And mustard, with keto-friendly buns. That was quite good. I really enjoyed that. I had some chicharrones with the flamin' hot dust on them. And I tried some of this frosting that I got that was supposed to be a keto frosting for a keto yellow cake that I'll be making tomorrow. Now, the frosting, in my opinion, was okay. I thought it was fine, but apparently my mom and my sister tried it, and they thought it was gross. So, I don't know. I guess my expectations for frosting are different from theirs, but they thought it was very bland, like a ghost chocolate frosting. I suppose it was fairly bland, but it didn't bother me too much. Now, after eating the burger, the chicharrones, a bit of the frosting, I also had the last square of my Lindt 78% chocolate bar. That was pretty good. And some whipped cream with 0 sugar. That was the last food item I ate today. That was for lunch. And now I'm drinking this root beer right now. A&W. Pretty good. Well, now that we've covered what was eaten today, exercises? Well, I guess the best I could say is I walked a whole lot at work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, now that the diet update's done, let's go on with the daily update. What interesting things happened? Well, I guess we could start out with what I wanted to happen. I made this little schedule for me right there, and it had times, and it had tasks like measure, full body stretches, jog for 10 minutes, shower for 15 minutes, make health shake, eat breakfast, finish Brain Jam episode. Oh my gosh, 1 second, that's weird. Okay, that's better. Screen went dark for a little bit. Anyways, and I wanted to get started at 7, and I did not. You know what I did instead? I woke up at 7, used the restroom, got some water, and then I went back to sleep again. Then at 8:30, I got up, got some water, and then went back to sleep again until I woke up at 9:50. Yeah, that's a whole lot of time that I could have used for my project or my better health, but instead I used to rest. I suppose that's not a bad thing, but you know, how you set your intentions at the beginning of the day will say what happens to you for the rest of the day. And my intentions were basically put everything off until the last second. Not good. I need to work on that. I need to wake up early and get things done, so I won't feel like I just am racing against the clock when I start working on my projects. Well, when I did wake up, I was hungry, so I made some bacon. My sister was up, but before I did make the bacon, I made health shake using carrot, about a half of a carrot actually, apple cider vinegar, half of a lemon, and water. I think that's it. And that ended up being alright. Yeah, actually no, it was kind of gross. But hey, I felt better after drinking it, so I guess that's cool. And then I made the bacon, and after making the bacon, my sister was sending me a whole lot of different keto-based recipes that she found browsing YouTube shorts. I went through various ones. A lot of them looked quite interesting, from a burger salad, cheeseburger salad, to bacon with cream cheese spread across it and everything seasoning. And there was probably one more I'm forgetting. I think it was like a lady making these health like biscuit things, but those had flour in them, so I couldn't use that. But they looked pretty good. So after going through the recipes, I wanted to try the bacon with the cream cheese on it because that looked the most easiest. So I used our little toaster oven device that we got to bake the bacon. Once the bacon was baked, I spread some of that cream cheese on it and had some, and my sister also had some. We thought it was pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Well, afterwards, my sister wanted to make jalapeno poppers with the cream cheese, the bacon, and full jalapenos, so she decided to make some. Luckily, the toaster oven was already preheated, so it was pretty much ready to go. I already laid parchment paper out that I used for the bacon as well. Pretty convenient. Well, as they were baking, I suddenly needed to use the restroom due to the health drink. After I was done, the jalapeno poppers were ready, so we feasted on those. Well, we were talking about various things like Marvel movies and how they feel like they're kind of running at the end of their rope right now. And also we were talking about the new Zelda movie, and the guy who's directing it has only really done those Maze Runner movies and that Planet of the Apes film. So we thought it'd be interesting to watch Maze Runner films to get an idea for what we could expect from that Zelda movie. I mean, might as well. Well, after that, I decided to finally, at I think 11:30, 12 or somewhere around there, work on my YouTube video, Brain Jam Extra. And when I was editing it on Adobe Premiere Pro, the audio, I asked my sister to come in to see if the audio was any good. She said she preferred the raw audio with the crackles in it over the AI upscaled audio because she felt like the AI upscaled audio took a lot of the personality out despite it sounding cleaner than the crackly audio. I decided to listen in and I ended up agreeing with her. So, crackly audio for the first video it is, I suppose. There was one problem. When I rendered the video, all 16 minutes of it in DaVinci Resolve, the big problem was that the entirety of the video was not rendered. Most of it was rendered, thankfully, but not the last minute of footage. It turns out that when I rendered it, I forgot to put there's this little barrier that indicates what part of the video should be rendered when you click the export button. And for whatever reason, that barrier was pushed a little further away from the very end of the video. And so I pretty much had to render the end clip of the video so that way it could be seen. And then I added that into Premiere Pro and I was messing with the audio levels because in the end of the video, throughout the whole video, I use my microphone and I have it closed into my mouth so you can hear my voice very clearly. But for whatever reason, I had the great idea of pushing the microphone away so when you do hear it, it sounds really distant and muffled in the audio. So I did whatever I could to fix it, but that's definitely a learning curve I now have faced. Never move the microphone away from your mouth when you're talking to the camera because you might destroy your audio quality, and it's hard to fix that in post. Well, after fiddling around with that for a while, it was time to get dressed and ready for work. So I did just that. I got all my clothes on and left, and yeah, it was a 2 to 11 shift today. Anything interesting to talk about, really? I mean, the schedule was changed. And by that I mean the layout of the schedule was changed. Where before I worked, today, the schedule just had a pretty clear idea of sweeps, lot, who's available, who's not, things like that. But then they decided to do this new box schedule design that threw me off a little bit, and it was like trying to relearn a new visual language. It was a little bit to get used to, that's for sure. I did manage to figure it out, but it was a bit of a shock when I entered the store and looked at the schedule. Well, my first hour was lot. That went along smoothly, but boy oh boy was it hot today. It was it was 89 degrees, not 100 degrees, but it was very warm. So warm, in fact, that even my shoes felt like they were getting cooked. Like the inside of my shoes. Like my feet felt like they were in a sauna. It was insane. I survived though, and next 2 hours was spent bagging. Honestly, it's a complete blur to me. Like I remember I made this closing list. I remember I did some go backs. I remember I did some bagging, but that's about it. I don't remember anything beyond that. Well, last hour before lunch I did a lot, and that went about pretty smoothly, I would say. And finally, it was lunchtime. I went home for lunch. I ate the burger, the chicharrones, frosting. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, before I left home for lunch, my sister wanted me to pick up a few things, so I did. I picked her up some water, but I also picked some root beer, zero sugar root beer for a household, and some keto cake mix with keto frosting, and drove home with the supplies. Yeah, it didn't take too long actually. It was actually fairly quick to get everything. Anyways, finally had I put everything away, or not everything away, but everything in the house, and I had the burger, the chicharrones, the frosting, and the chocolate square, and the whipped cream. And then I drove back to work. The last 4 hours, I had sweeps, but holy cow, I think it might have been the artificial sweeteners in the frosting, the keto frosting, or I don't know, maybe the chicharrones went bad, but whatever happened, I needed to use the restroom, and I needed to use it fast. So I did just that a good half hour into going back from lunch, and man, I don't know what came over me, but it was intense. That's all I gotta say. But I did survive. I did get out. And yeah. And then the last 3 hours was pretty chill, not gonna lie. Yeah, not really much else to say then. It was a really relaxing, chill time. And by relaxing, I meant that like everything moved smoothly. It wasn't chaotic or crazy like it normally is during closing. Everyone was able to do their closing chores quickly and efficiently with little stress or upheaval. So I give that a thumbs up. A non-stressful closing night for once. Feels nice. Well, afterwards, I punched out. I said goodnight to my boss. I drove home. And when I got home, my sister and my mom were watching various nostalgic media from like the 1960s, including like a 1965 Cinderella play, as well as The Flying Nun and old songs from the 1970s, early 70s, and then the mid-60s, specifically the year my mom was born. That was fun, and we were cuddling the cats while we were watching it. Pretty comforting, not gonna lie. Afterwards, the AV receiver was glitching out. I was trying to fix it with the AV receiver app on my phone. I don't know if I fixed it or not, but it stopped being buggy at that point. So maybe I did, maybe I didn't, I'm not sure. But afterwards, I decided it would be a good time to record my update video, and here it is. Well, that's pretty much it, and I'd say it was an overall good day. Well, thanks for watching, and take care, everybody. See you in the next one.